Oh dear Gond, it's you YouTube nerds again. Fancy meeting you here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news. And yeah, I wish this stuff wasn't backwards, as it would show the URL. That would be cool, right? Yeah, that'd be great. Public service message, folks. Don't pole vault the Caldera. All right? I can't believe I got to tell people that. It's our best seller, by the way. Paid promotion. There's a paid promotion, folks. We're paid when you buy these things. A tiny, tiny stipend for our meme creation. And of course, if you've got a meme that you would like created into products that you can hang up as a shower curtain or perhaps even get as your comforter, then let us know in the comments and we'll consider it. Anyway, what's in your breakfast? Today we'll be talking about news stories and space weather and earth weather and whatever happens to come up in the comments. So if you leave a super chat, I'm guaranteed to read your comment on the air. And if you leave a comment, I might read your comment on the air. Today, the breakfast is very simple. Maybe a little bit too simple, because today, I'm just having coffee. I ate a slab of cheese, and that's about it. That's sufficient. Of course, I am a purpose-built eater. So I eat based on purpose. If I have some crazy activity planned, then I fuel for the crazy activity that I have planned. Afterwards, I eat for recovery, right? If all of your dietary choices are based on the need for calories, etc., well, you can't go wrong. You can't go wrong, right? You need carbs if you're going to go out and do extremely hard exercise, especially if it lasts longer than an hour and a half. So I know there are a lot of carb haters out there, but look, if you have a sedentary lifestyle, maybe carbs aren't the best. However, if you're going to do hard, long workouts, then you need carbs and sugar. Like, sugar doesn't hurt you if you burn it all up. So, let that be a lesson to you, kids. Now, look, I can do a 40-mile bike ride on 0 calories. It's not a problem. If you don't try to ride super hard, it's not hard. But if you want that high intensity benefit, if you want to be able to go all out and still not be gassed afterwards, well, you consume carbs. Like, there's a reason why guys in the Tour de France are consuming 100 grams of carbs per hour while racing. But if your workout is less than an hour, or if it's, hey, Lorenzo, thanks for stopping by and saying hi. So yeah, I mean, that's the way it works. Like, have your food be purpose built. Cyclists are notorious for having low potassium. What happens when you have low potassium? You have high blood pressure. Yeah, potassium deficiency means high blood pressure. So high blood pressure is super common in cyclists. Depleted potassium is, not. Depleted potassium is more common in cyclists than it is in other endurance athletes. So swimmers and runners don't seem to have depleted potassium. So we're not sure what that is. Maybe it has to do with arms versus legs. I don't know. And thanks everybody for tuning in here. Like, more people showing up. Very nice. Please don't forget to press the like button. If you're new to the channel, please don't forget to press subscribe, or you might miss these live streams. So, of course, our channel was built for all of you who are new here, and I'll get to your questions here in a minute. For all of you who are new here, this channel was built on over 6 years of creating the world's most comprehensive daily space weather content and most detailed solar imagery. So that's where we came from. Where we're going is bringing space weather mainstream, okay? I got involved in this stuff in the mid-1990s, all right? I considered majoring in cosmology, but I noticed that there were some issues with heliophysics. And so since our basis for understanding what's going on in distant galaxies is based on what's going on inside the closest star, El Sol, the the local yellow dwarf, sometimes referred to as the sun. And if you could please like type in English in the chat, like we would appreciate it if you typed in English. I mean, we're not going to mute you for all of this spam that you're putting in the chat, but you're making yourself look very foolishly by typing in anything besides English. So not appreciated. And yeah, like this is how you get banned. This is how you get banned. So I'm sure if you do that on other YouTube channels, you find yourself muted and you're trying your best. So cheers. Mark Kian Kabetza says, you can say, can I borrow some money, please? Yeah, I could say that, except I don't need to borrow money. I prefer to get paid for putting out extremely valuable content. So I'm not talking about borrowing money. I'm talking about people paying up when they're able to and paying it forward for our channel's contributions to YouTube. So yeah, whatever, not trying to borrow money. Machine Daddy 420, thanks for leaving a comment. You stumbled on my channel, cheers. We met before Al-Assad in 2003. What? We met at Al-Assad in 2000. I was definitely never at Al-Assad. So yeah, that wasn't me. But cheers. Thanks for leaving a comment and joining the channel anyway. Maybe you'll have stumbled upon a really awesome channel, since it is. Yeah, space weather, folks. It's going mainstream. Am I old enough to be watching this? Turn on the 11. I don't know. Boggy Xiaomi says, can I mail you? You can email me. Head to smashomash.com. You'll find all of our socials there. You can send us messages on Instagram, on Facebook, on Twitter. You'll find the email address published on our homepage at smashomash.com. So, like, that's the best way to get a hold of me. You'll also find a permanent invite link to the Discord chat. So, you can join the Discord chat room. It's like sending me an instant message or a text message, basically. It's really easy to get a hold of me. And it's really easy to anger me by putting a bunch of Arabic... History will not smile fondly upon those that type in anything besides English in our chat. All right. Not that I have anything against Arabic. I'm an honorary member of an Arabic family. Well, they're like half Arab. They're half Arab, they're half white person. Yeah, Machine Daddy 420, we definitely did not meet in Iraq in 2003. We definitely didn't. Yeah, deployed to Al-Assad Air Base? No, I definitely wasn't. And even if I were, I wouldn't admit it. Agreed, English only after we went through Iraq. Really intense, really insensitive. Lorenzo says, please don't mute me. Yeah, we don't mute anybody on the channel. And just a little bit of background on that, folks. We're actual free speech advocates, okay? We're not free speech phonies. So, like, all censorship is evil. And censorship doesn't deserve to exist. Look at how those who have censored people have played out throughout history. The Nazis, the communists, the Googles, the Facebooks, the Twitters of the world. How has history been shining on those examples? Pretty pathetically, right? Yeah, because censorship is evil. The proper response to stupid, idiotic speech is smart speech, not trying to shut people up. Because when you try to shut people up, they go, now I'm being silenced. And of course they go berserk and they don't want to be silenced. So don't silence them. Let them talk and make fools of themselves, as we do in our comments regularly, and then let the chips fall where they may, right? Garbage in, garbage out. You put in crap, you're going to get crap. So, like, you don't need to be censored. It's not necessary. And by the way, freedom of speech 100% means freedom of reach, okay? If Elon Musk buys a megaphone that's 4 trillion watts and drowns out my megaphone in the public square, that's censorship. Freedom of speech 100% means freedom of reach. You should have just as much chance to go viral as anybody else. Like, what the hell? I mean, I can't believe that censorship is still as pathetic as it is. The whole hashtag system is broken. Social media is completely shattered. And when I say social media, I ought to say social media. Social media is about as social as locking yourself in the basement, chaining yourself to the wall with manacles, and consuming only vodka and canned peas for a month at a time. Not very social. And by the way, I've come up with some new names for artificial intelligence. So what do you think? Instead of calling it AI, let's call it II. Right? Imaginary intelligence. Or we could always call AI, what else? How about NI? Not intelligence. Large language models. Not intelligent. Don't resemble intelligence. By the way, if you'd like to check out the products on Redbubble, they are linked below the video. You can tell your friends and foes also to not pole vault the caldera. Does it seem ironic? Yeah, it is ironic, because that is how confused people are by the stuff they see on YouTube and the internet in general. So yeah, I mean, look, I don't do trolling the same way as your noob friends do trolling. All right, I've been at this a while. Facebook wasn't my first foray into social media, okay? So, yeah, there's that. This is a good question. All right, here's a fantastic question, and thanks for asking Zach on that. He says, what's the meaning of life? Yeah, that's a tough one. That's probably the most existential question that humans have ever asked throughout all of history. So, sorry if I don't have the answer to that one. It probably has to do with the people in your life, right? The people. The meaning of life has nothing to do with like how much money you make, how many followers you have on social media, how many likes and subscribes you get, what your job is. Like, it's none of that stuff. It's certainly your experiences and the people that you have experiences with and so forth, right? The things that take up space in your memory. That's got to be the meaning of life. It's certainly not like all the materialistic crap. I mean, aren't the people what's important, right? Aren't the people what's important? Like, pretty sure that's what it is. So, there's that. All right, what else do we have here? Gareth Baglow, a wrench wielder, I might add, says, get back on it, Uncle D. Stuck with Jesus. Desperato ben d'Aubonzion. D'Aubonzion. Strange though Dr. Skip is a love. I have no idea what the hell you are talking about. And I think Mercury is out of retrograde, although I haven't looked. Maybe I'll cover it later. If you want to look it up yourselves, folks, check out theplanetstoday.com. Theplanetstoday.com. It's what we usually show in our videos. It's my favorite planet simulator site. I'm sure there are a million of them. And I don't think Mercury is in retrograde. And if it were, I don't think it's controlling your fate. Just saying. There would have to be physics to back that up, and I don't see physics to back that up. So pretty sure it doesn't matter if Mercury's in retrograde or prograde motion. Folks, Mercury's in prograde. Now we have 30 viewers and 10 likes. So I see a disparity there. Could you press like? Like, is that too much to ask? Before I exit. All right. Yeah, live it. Exactly. Live it. Be in the moment, right? That's a big deal. Be in the moment. Don't be worried about what did happen and what's gonna happen. Although, if you're gonna worry about one of those things, like, be concerned with what's going to happen, because what happens now sort of sets the stage for what's going to happen, right? So, I mean, you'll be the most fulfilled, though, in the moment by being in the moment, right? All right, what else do we have here? We got more comments, lots of comments here, so keep them coming, folks. It's always interesting to hear what folks are up to at 7 a.m. Eastern time. It's a delight to have you. Thanks for joining me. It's I would have coffee with nobody else had I had the opportunity to. Actually, I'd have coffee with everybody if I could, but that would be a lot of people. All right, so what do we have here? And by the way, a little side note. Here's a challenge for you today. Here's a challenge, folks. Are you ready? This is a challenge, and this is hard. This will be hard for every one of you. All right? Every single person watching this video has people you don't like. Am I right? Think of somebody you don't like, right? I mean, you may even have people that you hate. Now, I don't have anybody like that. I hate nobody. And maybe I did when I was a teenager or something like that, but it requires way too much effort, folks. I'm far too lazy to hate anybody. Hating is it's like a full-time job, so I'm a little bit too busy to do anything like that. But here's your challenge, folks. Are you ready? Love the people you dislike. It's really easy to love the people that you love. It's pretty easy to love the people you like. But what about the people you dislike? All right? Like, those people can be redeemed. All right? Nobody is beyond redemption. All right? Everybody can salvage something at some point. They can, at the very least, repent in their heart, right? No matter how bad they are. Now, you might have to sever ties with them forever because you should definitely love yourself more than them. And your sense of self-preservation should exceed like your ties with any like toxic idiots in your life, right? So like, yeah, you have to dissociate yourself with certain people because they'll destroy your life. So like that's kind of important. Last I checked. So yeah, there's that. And let's change venues here because the kitchen, while the kitchen is a lovely room, I think I've got a little even better venue for you here. So we're gonna gather in front of the aquariums instead, and I'm gonna get the camera all situated here so that it's perfectly set up. So just bear with me a minute as we change venues. All right. I like this. This is good. It's gonna be good, folks. I'm telling you. Don't doubt me. Don't doubt me. I wouldn't mislead you. And by the way, the day I stop calling them like I see them is the day this channel goes out of existence. There we go. We'll get the Ricky Bubbles tank. There we go. That's Ricky and Bubbles there. Our goldfish. There you go. And they're watching SpongeBob right now, so that's a little venue. All right, so here we have a lengthy comment here from To The Core Vizbek KM. Let me read that before I read it aloud, since it's pretty lengthy. Modern apartments for sale on luxury cruise ships. A modern vision of mobile living. These apartments are not just rooms, but luxury residential units. Wow, that's fascinating. It doesn't belong on our chat, though, and it has nothing to do with anything we ever talk about in the channel. So if you're trying to sell real estate, I recommend purchasing a website and trying to sell it there, because this isn't a paid promotion for your luxury apartments on cruise ships? What? Get the Aw, man, my mic is cutting out. Really? Well, the mic works perfectly. Damn. Oh, geez. Monkey17 says, are you a Trump supporter? The answer is no. I don't support any political candidates, and I will endorse none ever, most likely. So, yeah, definitely not an anybody supporter. Garlic in the eggs this morning. No, Barb, no garlic in the eggs, but that's going to be a common thing. So, yeah, I mean, garlic in the eggs is good. And maybe not as good as garlic in the potatoes, but it's still spectacular. Yeah, no eggs this morning, Barbarian. And batshit crazy, says Steely Dan. I am pretty steely, but I can't stand that band. Or Air Supply. Ew. All right. Oh, jeez. So, so the stream's all messed up. Like the audio is messed up. It's pretty. That's not so good. I mean, maybe I can clean. Does that maybe help at all, folks? That might help. I close down all the other apps there. Maybe that helps. Let me know if it helps because if it's gonna if the audio is gonna be completely ruined, then I'll just restart the stream. I don't know. And by the way, interesting side note. Yesterday's live stream was highly produced. I created it on the computer. It was in landscape mode. I mean, we showed stunning visuals of the sun as we always do on the channel, and we got 1/10 of the views that our live streams have been getting. So we've already got way more views on this live stream than we did on yesterday's, even though yesterday's was highly produced in the studio on a machine that's all set up, that has OBS all set up on it. So, screen sharing, all of the bells and whistles, and it gets 90% less views than previous live streams. So we're incentivized to make videos like this in this guerrilla style. So whatever. Kevin Jones says, "Hey cutie, we met on Grindr and you told me to join your live. How have you been?" Well, we definitely didn't meet on Grindr because I'm not there either. Just like in Iraq. Not in Iraq, not on Grindr. So don't know what you're talking about. Monkey17 says, "Are you a Trump supporter?" Mr. Smiley says, "God bless Donald Trump." Okay, agreed. Barbarian says, "It's all theater, #politics." Yeah, it's all lip service. It's all people saying things and then not doing the things. We don't do that on the channel, all right? I don't make promises I don't keep. I don't make claims that are unfounded. Like, sometimes I speculate, and guess what happens when I'm wrong? I admit it. It's super easy, right? Super, super easy. When you're wrong, admit it. Move on. Get ahead of it. Don't double down and destroy your credibility forever. Because when your credibility's gone, how are you going to get it back? How? The answer is you aren't going to get it back. All right. Lorenzo says, "AI is not good enough. What happens when it takes up with the world?" So AI is not taking over the world. AI is not even intelligent. It should be renamed to II, imaginary intelligence, or NI, not intelligence. It's just code on top of code on top of code on top of code. Large language models are not intelligent. They prove it every time you tell them to do something. If it's complicated enough, they will not do it well because they would require intelligence to do it well. They don't have intelligence. So AI is actually NI, not intelligence. It's artificial in that people believe that it's intelligence. The only problem is it doesn't bear any of the markings of intelligence. Oh, jeez. Yeah. AI, it's not intelligence. It's II, imaginary intelligence. Kevin Jones says, "Why is this gay getting so angry? Did he have a fight with his man? I don't know who you're talking about, but please let us know in the comments who you're referring to, because that doesn't make any sense in the context of this video." Kevin Jones says, "Those glasses, do they make them for men?" I'm not sure. I think they might be unisex. However, if you'd like to pick up a set, you may find them in our Amazon shop, which is also linked below the video. And here's the URL to this paid promotion. It is amazon.com/shop//smash-o-mash. And if these are on our shopping lists, you can find them in the list of cycling items. You can even find the coffee that I'm drinking in the coffee selections list. It is Peruvian, Amazon brand, free trade organic, ground coffee this time. saving me a couple of steps in the morning where I don't have to grind it myself. Cheers. Organic coffee. It doesn't make you jittery. If you haven't tried it, what the hell? Like, try organic coffee. The jitters will go away and you'll go, wow, I was drinking pesticide or herbicide and fungicide all this time. And that was what was making me jittery, not the coffee beans. That's one to grow on, folks. I mean, it took my mom years and years and years to listen to this. She started drinking stuff besides coffee. And I said, have you tried the organic coffee yet? And she tried it. And guess what? Guess what? Any guesses? Not jittery anymore. Yeah. You're getting jittery from the coffee because of pesticide, herbicide, and fungicide in your coffee. Bugs, fungus, and other plants are killed by this, and it might be harmful to you as well. So try it out. It costs you a few bucks. I mean, I almost never drink coffee besides at home because coffee grows in places where there are a lot of parasites. So, like, geez, I mean, like, look, I'll repeat myself once, and then after that, like, you didn't listen, right? Like, there's a difference between not hearing and not listening, and then just having it go in one ear and out the other. Like, never try to help people who refuse to help themselves, because how futile is that? Like, are you out there trying to talk people into doing stuff they don't want to do? Because that's super ineffective and inefficient too. Oh, hey, check it out, Nastya. Yeah, thanks for joining us all the way from Russia. Spectacular. Cheers, and hopefully your late afternoon is a delight. Barbarian says fake book. I like to say feces book, but you know, that's my thing. If you follow the hashtag feces book on Facebook, you'll probably find me. Also, don't forget, let's see, hashtag junkware, hashtag trashware. I mean, Meta is one of the most pathetic software manufacturers of all time. They're right up there with Apple, Google, Twitter, Microsoft. When in doubt, folks, here's a software recommendation that is evergreen, just like this shirt. All right? Here's a software recommendation that will never expire. You want to know something about software? You know, when I first went to college, my major was computer information science with a math background. And I didn't want to do that because programming sucks, frankly. But here's a software recommendation that will probably never expire. Free open source. All right? There is a software out there that does practically anything that you could need it to do that is free and open source. All of the crap software that you use for your OSs, whether it's Android OS, whether it's iOS, whether it's Mac OS, whether it's Windows trashware, there are alternatives to all of this proprietary crap that you're not allowed to see the codecs for. All right? It's crap. It's proprietary crap with planned obsolescence built in. Free open source software like Ubuntu and Linux Mint and OBS and GIMP. These are all free open source software created and maintained by real computer nerds who update it constantly. That's why it updates so much. That's why it's so bug, glitch, and error free. It's not designed to be spyware like most of the software that billions and billions of people mostly use every day. So just a little tidbit for you there about software, since everybody who's viewing this video is using some right now. Google's software. Dag. Kevin Jones chilling at the Gaza Strip. Dude, is it safe? Like, what's going on at the Gaza Strip? That is super interesting and poignant. Thanks for dropping a comment, Mr. Jones. In fact, Mr. Jones, you now, sir, have a wrench. But don't mute anybody because, like I said earlier, this is a censorship-free channel. We don't mute our own viewers, okay? If you tune into YouTube channels that mute your comments, what? Like you're gonna stay subscribed? Make more accounts and go troll the crap out of them on multiple accounts because censorship is evil. You should be allowed to. This is the US, all right? Last I checked, I'm in Lehigh Valley, Pennsylvania right now. This is still the United States. The Constitution still applies. I can say whatever the hell I want to say, right? There could be repercussions. That's why I only say certain things. I think first, right? The game of chess is like a sword fight. You must think first before you move. And so is a conversation like a sword fight. Sadly, you might have a conversation with somebody who has no sword because maybe they're an imbecile. Thanks for leaving a comment. Faster. How much faster are you in NYC? Hello to you as well, and thanks for joining. I'm feeling generous today, so guess what? You've got a wrench too, faster. As we are faster with facts and faster on bikes than most of the channels out there on YouTube. So if you'd like to find out yourself, schedule a ride with the Lehigh Valley Cycling Club. Maybe I'll go uphill with you. I'll show you what fast really looks like. You'll get to see it for about 40 seconds and then I'll be out of sight up the road. Cheers. Let's see. To the core, Vizbek says, oh, you translated the Arabic spam. Yo, you are awesome. That is so cool. You translated the Arabic spam. All right. You get a wrench as well. You're getting a wrench, and you're getting a wrench, and you're getting a wrench. Fantastic. Translating the Arabic spam. That is just, our viewers are so awesome. Thanks, awesome viewers. This one's for you. Cheers. Joshua says, sup, bro? Sup, Joshua? Felicimo says, Felicimo? Felicimo says, THC friendly? I'm friendly to molecules. Molecules and I get along well. Tetrahydrocannabinol friendly? Sure. I'm not anti-molecules. Every molecule has its place. Lorenzo says, what's your favorite color? Well, my favorite color is increasingly becoming black. So while I'm wearing some malachite on my wrist to match my green, I got a green theme going. The last 2 days, I got a green theme. But yeah, I think black, although you could make the argument that black is the lack of color. So I really like chrome as well. Maybe that's too exotic for you. Also orange. Anodized orange, right? If I could make my bikes any color, I would make my bikes anodized orange. So it's like a mirror finish, but it's kind of orange in color. That would be my thing. And that just has to do with visibility, right? Nothing says don't run me over or shoot me like something orange. Construction workers tend to agree. And if I work construction, I would wear the orange and the chartreuse because that chartreuse color is okay. But in the spring, in the woods, a lot of times, on sunny days, that color is not so good. Whereas orange is really visible even in the woods. Because sometimes the light's just shining kind of right on some fresh leaves. And, when that's really bright like that, a lot of times that Seahawks green, yellow, that lime green color that a lot of dudes wear constantly, that's not so good in the woods. So prefer orange mainly for that reason. I come from the realm of mountain biking, so that's when I went pro on the bike, on the cross-country mountain bike, and so Yeah, I'm partial to orange. And I mean, I'm not really a practicing religious type person, but I am Protestant, so that's, I am Scottish. So there's a lot going on there. There's a lot of colors. I mean, and I'm super impatient too, right? So I can't keep the same thing around for a long time. So at the moment, I'd say my favorite color is black. Black is a very fast and hot color, and I like things that are fast and hot. Fast, hot things. Um, they get my wheels turning, if that makes sense. Shane Legs says it's 7 p.m. You drink your coffee. I'll stick to rum. Yeah, look, there comes a time in my day too when I say, coffee, you're on the bench. Beer, suit up. And I don't just ride for the beer, although some riders do. Some riders only ride for the ice cream. Some riders ride for the fitness, or for the looks, or for the guts and glory. I don't know. Everybody rides for a different reason. Um, so, so cheers. If you ride for the rum, then hey, that's an okay reward, right? I mean, I'm not endorsing the consumption of alcoholic beverages or condemning the consumption of alcoholic beverages. I can neither affirm nor deny their efficacy for whatever you're using them for. Faster says, I don't know, people are chill. Yeah, a lot of people are chill. Like people are like people are like the best reason to get out of bed, yo. Like, yeah, I mean, you like you might like think earning a paycheck is super important, but isn't the reason you're earning a paycheck largely because of people? Whether that's because of yourself, your family, your parents, who knows, right? People are chill. People are my favorite. I used to be extremely misanthropic. And the older I get, the more anthropic I get. Uh, the older I get, the more I like people. The less time that I have to spend with them, the more I like them. I guess that's maybe not a coincidence, right? Lorenzo says, I hate my best friend. Well, you gotta get rid of that. I mean, what the hell? You hate your best friend? That's tragic. Like, how can you hate your best friend? That's bonkers. You don't really hate your best friend. You're just mad at your best friend or something, right? So, like, lose that shit. You hate your best friend? Stop. It's not worth it. I mean, even if there really is a good reason to hate your best friend, there's no reason to hate anybody. Like, maybe dissociate yourself. Um, if your best friend's ruining your life, right? But you don't need to hate anybody over it. It's it's like hating somebody is like drinking poison and expecting the other person to die. Shane Legg says blankophiles can't be redeemed though, right? And that's a word that I can't say, so I've self-censored now. But those folks who have certain predilections to people of certain ages, uh, I don't know. I mean, I think they can probably be redeemed because it ultimately comes down to their behavior, right? As long as they don't act on extremely disturbing desires, um, right? Like they haven't committed a crime. You can think whatever you want. You can think crazy thoughts all day, correct? So, yeah, there's that. I mean, look, you can think crazy thoughts. Think the craziest thoughts you want. Go crazy. One of my friends told me this back in the 90s. He's like, oh, you're feeling nuts? Well, be nuts. It's what's going to happen, right? Nobody's reading your mind. And if you're reading my mind, you should stop because it's a short novel and there's nothing going on there. So don't read my mind, folks. Don't read my mind. There's nothing happening. There's nothing happening. A thought in the mind of a warrior is like a lightning bolt. Uh, Liam Gone Global says, yes, they can. You're right. Anybody can be redeemed. And if you're a Christian, you ever been to Rio de Janeiro? You ever see that giant statue? It's called Christ the Redeemer. It's pretty cool. Maybe go have a visit. It's it's like a megalithic statue overlooking Rio de Janeiro. Dag, Barb, you got two trout in your fridge? Let me guess. Rainbows, right? So many rainbows are stocked. And man, if you ever want to go fishing in Pennsylvania, hit me up. I know the spots. I know what lures to use. I'm not going to tell you what the live bait secrets, but I know all about it. My grandparents back in the 90s became definitely some of the best fisher people in the whole Lehigh Valley. And I mean, they had a whole freezer full of trout. So the, maybe I should make a playlist just about fishing. I think it's coming. It's coming. Maybe this fall and winter. Um, like I was up at one of my favorite fishing spots in the 1980s just this past weekend, and yo, the stunning beauty. You can see it. You can see some videos of it, even though I don't divulge what the place is because it's too good to tell you people about. But yeah, if you go to our shorts, youtube.com/smash-a-mash/shorts, that's where most of our content is, and it just has to do with incentives. This is a monetized YouTube channel. We're paid to put out videos, so we have to be a little bit flexible in terms of what the market is asking for. All right, just trying to get through your comments here, and don't stop leaving them because we'll get to all of them, and we do read every comment. So thanks to everybody who has pressed like. By the way, we've got 14 of them now, and 21 viewers. So cheers. Um, Bruce Manas says, and welcome to the Batman. Bruce says, are you going to go swimming? No, I'm not going to go swimming. I'm actually in a state of rest right now. So I may do a little bike ride on lunch. But I'm in the process of allowing some major gains to kick in. So, little consumer tip I just posted on social media about this morning, folks. If you're training for like a major endurance event, right? You're training for a half marathon or a marathon or an ultra, or you're gonna do 100-mile bike ride, or something like that. If you're training for stuff like that, folks, it takes like 5 weeks for major endurance sports gains to kick in. So be patient, like engage in self-care, make that your priority. If your sleep is bad, that is the first thing you have to fix because that's going to just boost the crap out of your recovery time. All right? If your sleep is bad, everything else is useless. So just handle your sleep. All right, you see this? I'm wearing a fitness ring, and that was bought just to track my sleep. I'm not going to tell you which one it is. It's a generic one. And I think that might actually be in the Amazon shop as well. But it does other things too. It measures specific blood oxygen. It measures blood pressure, heart rate allegedly. But this was bought for sleep because I don't want to sleep with a thing on my wrist. Smash Staff, aka Christy, bought a fitness a fitness watch, and it's fantastic. I mean, it's got a lot more features than this because hers, she can see her text messages and stuff, and she can do some stuff with her phone. I think she can even answer phone calls on it. So, like, that's really cool. I mean, I may have to kind of bite the bullet and switch to that, but at the moment, this has been tracking my sleep, and it's been making a big difference because when you measure something, you improve the thing. So, even if you don't want to buy a device for it, just figure out a way to measure your sleep. Put a little notepad next to your bed. Keep a log. Keep a log of your dreams. Stuff like that. Measure stuff. Improve the stuff. If you want to improve your fitness, go out and run your local 1 or 2 mile course or whatever you're doing, right? And time yourself. That's all. All you got to do is time yourself on a known course. You can use Ride with GPS. It's a free, there's a free version of it. I pay for my version because I want it to live track me to maximize my security, because it's pretty dangerous out there riding a bike thousands and thousands and thousands of miles a year. But yeah, Ride with GPS is a spectacular way to improve your fitness, but it's not as good as sleep. Sleep is absolutely the number one thing, and there's some great accounts to follow. If you've ever heard of Brian Johnson, he gets a lot of flack because he's trying to extend people's lives, which is crazy. Like, I mean, what more of a noble cause could you possibly have, right? Like, what's wrong with that? I mean, people are mad at Brian Johnson because he's putting out all kinds of like really complicated stuff about his longevity journey. And by the way, we have a thread on that on our forum as well. Smashomash.com/forum. Yeah, smashomash.com/forum. It's spectacular. There's a 50 is the new 30 thread in there. And there's also a recipes thread, which people have been posting to. If you want to find out what Toxo Bakes is, it's like Taco Bake, but it's my own take on it. And yo, it's bonkers. I think even my all rotten potatoes are in there. And dude, they are bonkers too. So, you want some new recipes? Like, we provide a lot of services on the channel. That's why we don't limit ourselves to one specific type of video. It's SNN, the Smash News Network, least busted name in news for a reason, because we're the least busted name in news, right? You're not going to catch us putting out disinformation ever. Like, again, the day I stop calling them like I see them, balls and strikes, is the day that this channel is deleted. It's done. I quit, right? Because I'm not cashing in my credibility ever for any amount of money or any amount of fame, which brings me to fame. Why do people think fame is an asset? Fame is not an asset. Fame is a liability. So just put it out there. If you want to become rich and famous, lose the famous. You don't want to be, you want to become rich and not famous. Like, how many people got famous and were like, oh no, I thought this was an asset, but it's actually a liability. It happened to Taylor Swift when she was like 13 years old. And she's like, damn, I'm famous. I better become a billionaire. At least she pulled that off. Being as average as she is, it's pretty impressive. Yeah, James T. Kirk. He is chilling. And thanks for commenting, Barb. There is James T. Kirk. Right there. Check that guy out. He's made of spikes and rocks, Governor. He's made of spikes and rocks. He is a South American catfish known as a pleco. And if you stepped on him, you would probably have a brush burn on your foot. AG knows someone who has big fish dogs in aquariums. Yeah, these two act like puppy dogs. That's Bubbles there in the front. With the big tail here, the big tail with the white on the top and bottom, that's Ricky. Named after the Trailer Park Boys character Ricky LaFleur. Played by Rob Wells. Legendary Canadian actor Rob Wells. Mwah, we love that guy. And then, of course, you got Bubbles here in the front. Bubbles a little bit fatter. And has a stubby tail. And those are vicious fishes, by the way. They bit me and were hand fed the first day home from the pet store. So yeah, we put them in a 29 gallon and let them chill for a few hours, and then I took some food and put it in by hand, and they just ripped it out of my fingers. So those two are naturals, and our goldfish are always trained attack fish. Jaws and Phelps were too. R.I.P. Jaws and Phelps. Ricky and Bubbles are trained attack fish as well. Yes, if you ever come visit us here at the Smash News Network, least busted name in news, we'll let you hand feed the fish. And thanks to everybody who's pressed like. We're all the way up to 16. And if we get to 600 likes, then maybe I'll end the stream. But otherwise, just have to keep streaming until we get to 600 likes. Liam Gone Global says, you're very attractive. No wonder you've got 25 people watching you. Well, thank you. Fortunately, I am aware that I look like a goblin. I just don't really care, because there are more important things than my appearance. And if you saw me naked, you'd think I look better. Shane Legg says, anyone who harms a child for their own gratification does not deserve redemption. There's an argument to be made for that. You don't get to decide who gets redemption. You didn't die for anyone. I, okay. If you say so, if you say so. Look, God is my judge, so I'm not judgy of others, but you're more than welcome to be judgy of me. Enjoy. Holy smokes, Batman! Bruce is doing bong rips. I guarantee it. All right. Shane Legs says Exodus 21, uh, chapter 21, verses 20 to 21 for some reason, which I will not be looking up, but okay. Thanks, I guess. Thanks for the Old Testament verses. Uh, Liam Gone Global says my kids forgave me. Yeah, I mean your kids are gonna forgive you, right? You might like cheat on their mom and like ruin their lives and cause them to become homeless, and your kids might come around one day. Like they definitely should. Like I don't give up on people, right? Like I've had people, I've got people that were my closest friends since like kindergarten just ghost me for years and years at a time. You think I'm giving up on them? Not really. I mean, if they want to permanently dissociate themselves from me, okay. Like that's going to accomplish a lot, I guess. I mean, I'm certainly not some kind of toxic influence, so all right, whatever. Like way to go, people who ghost each other for no reason. Like what? What did you misinterpret about my activities that caused you to do something so idiotic? It's pretty hard to forgive, but you should. Because holding a grudge is like ingesting poison and expecting the other person to die. Like I forgive people like a second later. I might hold them accountable too, right? And what's the great thing about accountability, folks? Let me share another like little like piece of wisdom with you here, okay? Accountability. Have some. If you hold yourself fully accountable and you're already your worst critic, if you hold yourself accountable and you like admit when you screw up, now you can hold others accountable when they screw up. Like Ricky and Bubbles, when they screw up, I hold them accountable. I stick my fist in, I punch of the fishes. I punch of the fishes. But, you know, I forgive them. I still might have to punch them though. Now sometimes they counter the punch and they just bam, they just swim right into my fist with their beak and try to split my fist in half. So, all right, Lorenzo's watching this at 4:07 a.m., so I know that you're located on the left coast or somewhere in Pacific time. You could be in Vegas. Maybe you're in Vegas. Who knows? I used to work in Vegas remotely. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Modern day comment, mean stride. Today's Barb comment, mean pride. Rush, one of the best bands in the history of bands. And sadly, they can never really come back because with the passing of Neil Peart, it's kind of over. I mean, he sort of wrote their songs. I suspect maybe they will get a new drummer and maybe they'll make some new tracks. I hope they do because I love Geddy and Alex. But yeah, Rush kind of passed away with Neil Peart in a lot of ways because the lyrics, which people love so much, are largely Neil Peart's lyrics. I feel like a lot of people may not know that. And I've been listening to Rush since about 1984 or 5 or so. When they came out with the album Presto, we were like, dude, this is the best. I did see them play live in 2011 at the Great Allentown Fair, and it was, I don't know if it was the best show I ever saw. I'm not sure if it was better than Faith No More and Helmet or Guar. I mean, I've seen some pretty good shows. But Rush is pretty good. They played the entire Moving Pictures album, the entire 2112 album, and a whole series of other current and, classic hits. So they played the whole They played Presto from the title track from Presto, 1989, I think it is. And then they played the entire Moving Pictures album. And then they played all kinds of an eclectic mix of their old tracks and new tracks. And it was the Time Machine tour, I think it was. And then to close out the show, they played the entire 2112 album. And we left early because they play for like 3 hours, yo. I think it was like 2 hours and 50 minutes was the total time of that show. And we left early. Like, like my date and I, we looked at each other, before as they started to play 2112, we're like, do you want to stay for this whole thing? And I'm like, not really. What about you? But I will, like, if you want to. And she's like, not really. It's a lot. We've been here, it's going to be like 3 hours. And, because we know how long the 2112 album is. It's only like a 40-minute album, but it was already like over 2 hours by that point. So I said, let's leave toward the end of Temples of Syrinx. And that's what we did. We got the hell out of there before the crazy outflow of the entire crowd happened. And that show was so filled that you could barely move. When they did an intermission, you could barely walk anywhere. Like, people were so tight, you could barely even like get in between them. You had to literally stick your hand in between people and like squeeze in between people to get to the concession, to get to the bathroom, anything like that. It was bonkers. I mean, and the fact that they played Presto first was just awe-inspiring. I mean, I couldn't believe it. Greetings from Norway. Yes. Thanks, Monkey17, for leaving a comment. Cheers. As we've got viewers from all around the world, we've got viewers from Munda. We've got viewers from over the equator. So in Brazil, you're an hour ahead of us. That's interesting. It seems like you're just south of us, but you're actually southeast of us. Lorenzo says, what power would you rather have, and what would you do with it? I would rather have the ones that I already have, which are largely classified. My powers are largely classified. So you mean like superpowers? Geez, I guess if I had superpowers, I mean, maybe being able to see the future, although that is kind of a superpower I sort of already have too. Let me think. What superpowers? Geez, I don't know. I mean, again, I've got some that I can't mention in the video because they could be a threat to some type of security, including my own. So the first rule about superpowers, folks, is you don't talk about your superpowers. Sometimes you're forced to demonstrate them and people go, what just happened? And you go, I don't know. That's how it works. As Bruce Minas is well aware, the first rule of Batman is you don't talk about being Batman. You don't talk about being Batman or Tony Stark or Clark Kent or anybody else. Okay, Maine says, I hit another fucking bike today. Oh, did you? Will you be going to prison for attempted murder? Assault with a deadly weapon, vehicle edition? What did you hit a bike with? Did you hit one with a rubber band, a hammer? Were you jogging and you overtook a cyclist and ran them over? What do you mean you hit a bike? Donna Marie Power says, you vote for who you want to vote. Freedom, press, and all that stuff. Yeah. My sense of political efficacy is exactly zero. Zero. So as far as voting, not interested. As far as who's in office, not interested. As far as who's writing laws, not interested. As far as the local sheriff and dog catcher elections, not interested. Not interested in any of it. Because all of the lowest members of society who are unable to control their own lives are the same pathetic lip service offering, like, wastes of space that run for political office. So done with that. Done with politics. That's it. I had a really low sense of political efficacy until I became old enough to vote. The first election that I voted for president in was Clinton versus Gore. Bush versus Gore. And, since then, like, I'll tell you that I voted in that election. Since then, I'm not even going to tell you if I voted, much less who I voted for, much less who I think you should vote for, because I don't care who you vote for. I do not care. I don't care who's in office. I'm going to be super critical of everybody. I don't care who's writing laws. I'm going to be super critical of Congress and state legislatures as well. I'm going to be super critical of judges. I'm going to be super critical of anybody who is paid with taxpayer dollars. Period. Like, and by the way, I've never been paid by taxpayer dollars. So if you think I'm like a CIA shill or some kind of government shill or something like that, never worked for the government, never got paid by taxpayer dollars, except a couple fleeting times when I collected unemployment, right? But I'm paying into that anyway. So yeah, like never worked for the government, police, military, no ties whatsoever to any of that stuff. I am 100% private business 100% of the time. I'm part of the productive economy, not the unproductive economy, all right? And so that's why I want to see lower taxes. That's why I want to see no tariffs, because taxes pull money from the productive economy and they place it in the unproductive economy. It's like filling up your pool by dipping a bucket into the deep end, spilling 60% of it, pouring the rest into the shallow end, and saying, "Why is my pool empty?" That's what big government idiots do constantly. The government is corrupt. That is why we need to make the government much, much bigger. It's in the pocket of the corporations, which means we got to make the government much, much bigger. That is what I hear people saying. What? What? Like, oh, that fire is really intense. We better throw gas on it to put it out. That's what you hear. Oh, what? The government's screwing up. We better add more regulations. Like the answer to everything is more laws. And who's repealed a law recently? Like, show me a law that was repealed. When's the last time a law got repealed? It's ridiculous. Just ridiculous. So, yeah, I'm done. Like, I'm not involved. I'm interested in the productive economy. Making money, and, like, that's it. Making money and paying as low a taxes as I possibly can. I work in the marketing industry and the accounting industry. We're a marketing company that works with entrepreneurial accountants. So our job is to make sure businesses and individuals pay as low a taxes as they possibly can. In other words, we're trying to keep as much money in the productive economy as we can and out of the unproductive government economy, because the government is not an economy. It's a draw on the economy. It weakens the economy. And if you think taxes stimulate the economy, you are nuts. Take intro to macroeconomics, like, for goodness sakes. Taiwan Parin says we need to become AI. Why would we need to become AI? What does that even mean? Makes sense when you type a comment. Just a consumer tip. Red Jones says, "Hi, I just wanted to pop in and say your fish look awesome." Well, thank you. They're very healthy fish. We love them very much, and we spoil the heck out of them. Look, they're watching TV right now. Like, I kid you not. Look at this. They're currently watching SpongeBob, and I know this is an episode with Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy. So yeah, they're watching SpongeBob, and James T. Kirk over here, he's got SpongeBob on his TV as well. There, you can probably see it. Yes, yes, James T. Kirk, Spikes and Rocks. He usually watches Cops, but recently actually, he's been enjoying his SpongeBob. So yeah, our fish are very, very spoiled. And we're about to get some little plecos to join James T. Kirk there. We're gonna vet them in our 29-gallon tank for a few weeks, and then throw them in there with James T. Kirk, and we'll give them a bunch of cover in case they decide to get aggressive. But it's fairly well known that common plecos are able to, you can have little tiny ones with real big ones, and they'll all wrestle each other, but they don't really do any damage. Plecos can actually be aggressive fish, believe it or not. Like, we had to separate them from our goldfish because James T. Kirk was trying to murder our goldfish. So we had to separate them. So now this 75-gallon tank over here to my right, that's actually gonna become a pleco tank. But eventually we will upgrade to an indoor pond setup. Believe it or not, this might sound crazy, but the indoor pond setup really is the ultimate. And having a water feature in your living room, like what could be better than that? It's so good, and it's even more secure than these things. Like what if we had a massive earthquake here in Pennsylvania? These tanks might shatter, right? It's pretty dangerous. They might start leaking. Whereas an indoor pond, they're made out of like plastics and stuff. They're very durable. The roof could collapse, and the pond would probably still be intact. So indoor ponds are freaking sweet. Put a kiddie pool in your living room, right? If you want to be cheap about it, like a kiddie pool would work fine as a water feature in your living room if you have room for it, of course. And you can get all kinds of different shapes of indoor ponds. But yeah, thanks for commenting there, Red Jones. All right, what else do we got here? Odar says, damn right, it's just multi-loops answers in sentence order. I don't know what that means. Faraz says hashtag Persian_golf for some reason. I don't know what that means. Peter Avery says, WTF are you talking about? AI is still advancing and can beat any human at chess. Yeah, AI could beat humans at chess in the 1990s, if I recall. And that doesn't make it intelligent. Being able to play chess doesn't make it intelligent. Chess has a series of rules. You can write code for chess playing. It's the only thing that's artificial is the fact that people think it's intelligence. So your hypothesis here about how AI is like here's what I'm talking about. Artificial intelligence is not intelligent. So it's imaginary intelligence, or NI, not intelligence. Troy says, you look good today, be cool. Yeah, I mean, I feel pretty good. I slept pretty decent last night. I mean, it's like life is good. I mean, I would prefer to be nobody else but me. And I would prefer to be doing nothing else but what I'm doing right now. This is what I want to do right now. And so, living the dream, baby. Living the dream. It's super fun doing these live streams. Even if I go until 8 o'clock and I don't even get to talk about space weather. Like, oh well. All right. Tell me more about poisoning the well, says Odar. All right. Don't poison the well. Poisoning the well is bad for those consuming the well water. Is that good? Starfan says, coffee doesn't function on me. I get sleepy after drinking it. Barb says, I'd like your mom. Yeah, probably. You two could chat and share gossip on me, although she rarely watches the YouTube channel. Because, I don't know, she used to think that we were talking politics. But I certainly wasn't. I mean, I definitely brought up COVIDiocy quite a bit. Yeah, you'd probably get along with my mom. We Do It All says, this guy is a total head case. Yeah, there's a lot of gray matter up here. If you'd ever like to square off in a Trivial Pursuit or Jeopardy match, feel free to look me up, and I will absolutely smoke you. I will smoke you at Jeopardy or at Trivial Pursuit. Bring it on. Bring it on. You think I'm a head case? I'm probably smarter than you. So enjoy. Yes, I've had an actual IQ test between first and second grade. I got 14 likes. We're up to 18 likes now, Barb, so it's chilling. We are chilling. And Barb, aka D, your aliases. I won't say anymore. Microsloth evil. John McAfee warned us. I mean, I don't know. It's not so evil. It's more like just like grifting. Up to 20 likes now. Now we've got more likes than we have current viewers. So my solution is press the share button, would you? Press the share button. And yeah, I really got to end this stream. But I'm going to just briefly go over the space weather stats. I'm going to get to all your comments. And I'm just going to call out things like the sunspot number because it doesn't look like it's super exciting right now for space weather. And frankly, I've got work to do. So let's see, what do we have here as I enter the Smasho studio? We're gonna briefly take a look at our space weather stats. Things like the sunspot number, the radio flux, the coronal holes, and so on and so forth. While we're booting up the operating system here, I will continue on with your comments, so stay tuned for that. Barb thinks there are 40 bots watching because of keywords. I doubt that. Are software a gay stuff? Yeah, maybe a little bit feminine. I don't know. Soft doesn't necessarily mean gay, right? Because women are soft, but most of them are straight, just like everybody else. Na 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 bat bots, bat bots, bat bots, bat bots. Na 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 bat bots. Hello from the lands past Antarctica. What? You're in Antarctica? You're viewing this live stream from Antarctica. Please clarify. Because that is one of my top bucket list locations. Dying to go to Antarctica. Can't wait till I do. And when we do, we'll make a video about it. Trust me. Please don't lock your fish in prison aquarium. Release them in river. No. No, we're not releasing our goldfish into a river. Our goldfish most goldfish are sold as feeders. They get eaten by other fish and turtles and all kinds of disgusting things. They cost like 68 cents a piece or something like that. And they're our pets. We saved them from being feeder goldfish. So what are you talking about? Like, fish that are in an aquarium store already are already captive fish. Releasing them into the wild is a death sentence for them. So get a clue before you give advice. That is terrible advice. Raj the Catexid. What OS would you recommend that's user-friendly? Ubuntu or Linux Mint? That's it. Linux Mint and Ubuntu. They're free. They're open source. If you have a computer that doesn't work anymore, you can download these OSs for free, and you can install them onto a USB thumb drive. And when you do that, you can boot up from the OS. I mean, I'm in the process of installing Ubuntu on a couple machines right now because it's so good. I mean, you can get skins for these Linux OSs that make it look just like Windows or make it look like Apple or whatever. And I mean, they update forever. They're open source and free. So real computer nerds are constantly modifying the codec so that it works. I mean, they're spectacular. And most of them will run practically any software that's made for Windows. They have an emulator called Wine, and it works spectacularly. So yeah, Ubuntu.com and Linux Mint. I think it's linuxmint.com. I don't know. Look it up. You probably have the internet. So do a web search. Maybe at yahoo.com or maybe at dogpile.com or Alta Vista. Does that still exist? Search engines are so busted. So busted. All right, let's talk about space weather here while I continue on with your chat. So the first thing we're going to look at is, I'm going to take a look at the closest star here and just tell you what's up with it, straight up. Bruce Minas says NPCs are real. Yeah, NPCs are definitely real. Sycophants who can't call balls and strikes, who just are like, the person that I like is perfect and is beyond reproach. Nothing that he ever does is wrong. Even if he says something really stupid, now I back a really stupid thing because I'm a sycophant. Don't be a sycophant, folks. Call balls and strikes. Be objective. It's just pathetic to be, to be a shill for anybody. Like, what the hell? I mean, you want to cash in your credibility, that's a great way to do it. Just be a shill. It's it'll definitely cast an unfortunate light on you. And in fact, I think I'm going to cast a fortunate light on me because red light therapy is just spectacular. Yeah, so I'm blasting it. See this, my red light, one of my red lights. And if you'd like to buy one for yourself, you can find one for yourself in the gift ideas at amazon.com/shop/Smash-O-Mash. Links in the description to that paid endorsement. So we do have some South Pole oriented corona holes rotating in here. We are in a South Pole oriented magnetic sector right now. We crossed over right around when we made yesterday's video, actually. So that's a thing. If you didn't see yesterday's video, feel free to turn it on. You'll find that in our lives. So youtube.com/Smash-O-Mash/live. You'll find yesterday's video. It's stunning. I mean, I put crazy, awesome visuals in there, and it's excellent. But it got like 40 views or something. So, I mean, we're probably at like 300-400 views on this live stream already. Odar says, was this recorded? Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, live streams get recorded. You can view them in syndication. So, yeah, it'll be there. I mean, just go to the channel. Like, save the channel in your favorites, right? Because all of our videos will not show up in your newsfeed. They just won't. Like, nobody's videos all show up in your news stream, especially if you have like a whole lot of channels in your subscription feed. If you got a lot of channels in your subscription feed, you might not see our content. So it doesn't look to me like we have any Earth-directed CMEs. We did have one major one come out of the west yesterday. So when you look at the coronagraph, that will be on the right side of the coronagraph. Yeah. And as far as sunspot number goes, I'll call out the sunspot number in radio flux, and then I'll call out any severe weather, and then I'll finish reading your comments, and then I'll close this video out. So the sunspot number still remains pretty high here. It's gone up since yesterday, so we do have some new developments. Sunspot number is now at, wow, over 180. So we're over 180 sunspots. That is pretty cool. The radio flux is actually down. Oh, the radio flux is up just marginally to about 153, 152. 152 solar flux units, we'll say, is the 10.7 centimeter radio flux. Let's see. What do we have as far as new sunspot growth? Let's briefly take a look at that. They don't look, I don't suspect that the new sunspots are super active because seeing that the radio flux has not suddenly jumped up, I'm just going to briefly take a look at the colorized magnetogram here from the SDO HMI instrument, and that should give us some indication of what is happening. Looks like we just had some sunspots rise, so it looks like not new formation there, just old sunspots rising there over the east without the same number of sunspots setting in the west. So nothing looks super magnetically complex, although those setting sunspots on the western limb, which would be on your screen right in most locations, those setting sunspots do have a potential for producing large flares. They may also be producing some proton events some SEPs known as solar energetic particles, because those are much more likely to be produced associated with flaring on the western limb because of the shape of the Parker spiral. So there's that. And I'll just briefly talk about the X-ray flux here. We did have some flaring, but nothing in the M-class range beyond about 1:40 universal time this morning. So nothing, no M-class flare since early this morning. That is August 13th, 2025. As far as weather goes, here's what's going on in the U.S. Do we have any severe? Good question. Do we have any severe? There is a band of rain stretching all the way from Nolens to Ottawa, Canada, and beyond. There are some severe storms here moving across North Carolina. They are relatively slow movers, so North Carolina is going to have a moist day. It's going to be soaked, and we hope everybody who wants to be soaked is sopping. So there's that. Yeah, I like to say the word moist and soaked and sopping regularly on the channel. And the reasons for that, well, maybe we'll have to keep those classified. All right, and what else do we have here? Yeah, so, there are some severe storms here south of Dallas as well. And also just clearing out of the Nashville area. So Knoxville, you're sort of in the crosshairs there for some significant thunderstorms there. They're pretty small, but they are concentrated, so you may have things like damaging wind and hail. Although North Carolina, you're going to have the most severe weather of the U.S. for the day. Today, it looks like. What else do we have here? Just reading your comments, and we're about to close this thing out. So if you've got comments, folks, and you're waiting to type something, don't wait, because this video is going to be over in about 5 minutes, maybe less, depending on how many comments we have. Let's see here. Barb says, J.E., we don't want to hear about your sick fetishism. Is somebody making a fool of himself again on the chat? Barb doesn't eat sugar? Okay. Don't eat sugar. Doesn't hurt my feelings. But what I said about performance still stands. Like, if you do a 30-mile hilly bike ride, you earned an ice cream cone in the middle of that ride, right? At the end of the ride, when you're done with a 30-mile hilly bike ride, eat an ice cream cone at mile 15. At mile 30, have a Coke. It's just going to replace your muscle glycogen, and it's going to decrease your recovery time, right? Sugar isn't dangerous unless you have excess sugar in your bloodstream for excessive amounts of time. Otherwise, if you're fit, sugar is not of any danger to you at all. So, I mean, sugar, like this whole like demonization of sugar is utter nonsense. I mean, like, do you think the guys that race the Tour de France, do you think they know less or more about nutrition than you do? Do you think the nutritionists on their teams know more or less about nutrition than you do? If you want top level performance, you have to do what the top level athletes do, and they consume 80 to 120 grams of sugar per hour typically. That's really common. That's sort of like the gold standard for World Tour cyclists. And of course, you aren't a World Tour cyclist, but even if you're going to do an easy bike ride, you're going to end up with better results if you stay fueled during it. Because if you deplete all of your glycogen stores, recovery takes longer, and the longer recovery takes, the less fit you'll get because of gains. And just to reiterate, major gains take 5 weeks to kick in. So be kind to yourself, engage in self-care, engage in sleep recording, like figure out a way to record your sleep. And Go slowly, all right? The way that we get fast on the bike is not just by riding fast all the time. You got to ride fast, and then you got to ride recovery style. Ride fast, recovery. Like that's the way it works. We spend more time riding slowly than we do at top speed. I mean, a lot of folks seem to think that bike racers are just always riding fast, and that's just because our slow rides look fast to you. There's such a range with cyclists. The best cyclist in the world, um, if I went riding with him, he would blow me up, and he would be at like 120 beats per minute for his heart rate. Tadej Pogacar, he puts out over 300 watts in zone 2. So, I mean, 300 watts is well above my functional threshold power. Uh, well, it might be above my functional threshold power, uh, and that's not zone 2. All right, so there's a huge range. Um, don't be presumptuous, because you may find yourself very wrong. Like when you assume you're not going to make an ass out of me, but you might make one out of you, but you definitely won't make one out of me. That's why I try to just ask questions when I don't know the answer to things. And folks, please don't misinterpret. Like if you ask somebody a question, will you please just accept the answer? It's just a common courtesy. Like if you can't accept the answer, why even ask the question, right? If you ask me for advice on a thing and I give you advice and then you do the opposite of what I told you, okay, thanks. Thanks for wasting my time, basically. Did you just want your bias confirmed? Because I don't do that. I call balls and strikes. Stillinya is Stillinya is still in your. Everyone, please enjoy your day today, and always don't let nothing or no one steal your joy, ladies and men. Yes, that's great advice. That's great advice. Don't let anybody steal your joy. There are psychic vampires out there, folks, and be the metaphorical stake through their heart. If you're mad, it was your choice. JLP retracted a message. Uh-oh. Oh, geez, a retracted message. Dear God. Bruce's best friends are his cats. Light of the Lordicons says anyone can be forgiven as long as there's repentance. God's love is not unconditional. It's very conditional. God's love is not unconditional. It's very conditional. No comment on that. Because there are some things that just must remain a mystery. So, yes, the red light is so good. Red light on my neck makes me happy. And by the way, this red light therapy stuff, it is very much legit. It speeds up your ATP engine. So, I mean, if you don't know what that is, look up ATP engine, and it's like magic. So you may want to try it out. God hates more humans than he loves. People need to read the Bible more. No comment on that either. Light of the Lordicons. Preach away, preach away. There's a reason why I don't go to church. It's because people that are really concerned about my soul make me concerned about their souls. Because a lot of people, they reach out for control when they're unable to control their own lives. This is why politicians become politicians. They can't control their own lives, so they want to run for public office so they can control yours. That is like projection of the highest order, right? Mike says Earth is flat. Okay, if you say so. If you say so. I was up to like 40 viewers at one point. Yeah, I think we even got a little higher than that. I think we were almost at 50 for a minute. And that's concurrent viewers, as we're probably at like 500 right now. Patrick says, mo money, mo problems. That's all too true. That's all too true. Don't just assume because you got more money that you can just change your lifestyle right away, right? Put some aside. Make sure your 6-month emergency fund is existent. Things like that. The simplest thing, right? Make sure you have the money put aside to pay all of your bills for 6 months, because you never know. Your job could evaporate any day. So have a 6-month emergency fund. It's the most basic in financial planning. And I mean, that's not even investment advice. That's just advice for like a savings account. All right, what else do we have? Taylor sold her soul. Mike says the Bible says you're allowed to just judge righteously. Oh, okay. But my namesake is Daniel, which means my judge is God. So, you know, those of us who actually are characterized by our names, right? Some of us live up to our names. So, but ultimately what it means is when we say God is my judge, that means no human is my judge. So do you see how that's in conflict with what you've said there? And that's because you're wrong. You're allowed to judge if you're a judge, but ultimately we all serve a higher power, perhaps, right? So there's that. Oh, geez. Man, oh man, we got a lot of comments here. So I'm still trying to get through them. And again, thanks for everybody for leaving them. But I'm getting fatigued, and I'm actually supposed to already be done with this stream, but the stream continues. Patrick says, if I do a bong rip in the morning, I am stupid the rest of the day. Well, then maybe don't do it unless you want a stupid day. Then whatever. Maybe still don't do it, or do. Like, no advice from me there. Incidentally, pot is a performance enhancing drug. Did you know that? Like, you're not allowed to have THC and CBDs. Like, those are illegal in endurance sports. Just so you know, like, if you weren't aware. Accepting accountable helps you grow. That's right. If you accept accountability, you're gonna admit when you're wrong, and like that allows you to hold others accountable, because now you're like on top of your own nonsense and you're not projecting nonsense onto other people. That's the way to do it. Patrick's superpower is procrastination. Well, you know what? Next time you have to put something off, don't put it off, right? It's very easy. As soon as you think of it, the reason that you procrastinate is because you're building a thing up to be harder than it is. When you finally do the thing, tell me this, don't you find that it's much easier than you thought it was going to be, right? That's how it always works. The reason you put it off is because you're like, oh, it's going to be hard. And then as soon as you start doing it, you're like, it wasn't that hard. Like, your best bet, the most efficient thing is when you think of a thing that has to be done now, if you can do it right now, just do it right now. Then you don't have all this weight. You're not worrying about like how hard it's going to be and have this list of things that you got to do later. Like, why subject yourself to all that torture? It's not necessary. So don't procrastinate. What the heck did I swipe into? You swiped into another one of our awesome live streams that have incredible number of viewers. And cheers. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Nick Panic. Don't panic, Nick. The channel is spectacular. And we've got all kinds of words of wisdom, like don't pole vault the caldera. Yeah, don't pole vault the caldera. It's not a good sport to participate in, folks. Caldera pole vaulting is very dangerous. And of course, Steve Stimpak would be the first to tell you. Now, of course, he died in a tragic ping pong accident, but I digress. Steve Stimpak, gone to rest his soul. Barb says, some of my comments disappeared. WTF. Sometimes that happens, Barb, with YouTube. I don't know why. I don't know if there's some moderator from YouTube that's like secretly there deleting comments, but we've seen this happen. We certainly do not delete comments. There's nobody supposed to be nobody is supposed to be censoring anybody here, so none of our moderators should be deleting your comments. If your comment just disappeared, there may have been a problem with the sending of it, so check your internet connection. Craig Fulcrum says JJ Jr. James Jones. I don't know what that means. Bruce says politics stinks. I would agree. Craig Fulcrum says, are those red Clenny ski glasses? These are cheap $20 Derivi Amazon glasses, not to be confused with the $200, $300, $400 glasses that a lot of cyclists wear. I've got a lot of pair of cheap sunglasses instead of like one pair of expensive sunglasses. I've done the expensive ones, I've done the cheap ones. The difference in value is so vast. The difference in quality is not that vast. So they're eventually going to get scratched up and destroyed. Sunglasses are relatively disposable in my mind. I don't wear the expensive ones. You might be able to find these on the Amazon shop as well. They come with multiple lenses. There's all kinds of accessories that come with them. 2 cases, a hard case and a soft case. Derivi brand. It's like cheap Chinese Amazon stuff. Not recommended, really. But yeah, it's just sunglasses. You know, it's not a big deal. But you should always wear sunglasses, especially if you're like riding long distances, high speeds on the road and stuff. Protect the eyes. You know, they're kind of important. No, they're not Red Clenny. They're Derivi brand, which is a cheap Chinese stuff. It looks like the high-end stuff, but it isn't at all. It's cheap but it's fine. I mean, like, how good does it have to be? They're polarized. They look okay. They provide enough eye protection. And you know, sometimes you do a face plant. If you do a face plant, having sunglasses is way better than not doing sunglasses because you might slide on your face. I know a guy who did it on one of the rides I was hosting. His glasses were all gouged. He left a stripe on the road. He did a face plant and slid on his face and head off the side of the road and left a white stripe from his helmet. It was insane. His glasses were all gouged and his face would have taken more damage. Like, he didn't have that much damage on his face because he slid on the glasses. It's pretty serious. Marco hard over the Microsoft all day. I don't know what that means. Just in time for space weather? Oh, geez, I must be way behind on the comments. So maybe I should do it on the computer, but nope. Barb sent a super chat, but didn't see it. Oh, well, $5 for your donut. Okay, thank you, but I don't see any super chats. Wow, 43 viewers tuned in, but certainly less than half of you have pressed like. So please press like if you enjoy the content, or press dislike if you don't. Even a dislike is better than nothing. Remember, Walmart sold computers with Linode. Did they? I know you can buy computers that have Linux pre-installed on them. That is a thing, and it's highly recommended. You can even set up a dual boot, right? So if you buy a computer that does have Windows or Mac OS or whatever, you can always install. You might be able to install another OS and have a dual boot. Hey, John Q. Public, thanks for subscribing and liking the channel. Welcome to the Neo Renaissance. We'll only call balls and strikes. We will never cash in our credibility. And cheers to you. Canadians will get fines for going into the woods. Yeah, not sure why that is. Maybe Bill Gates is up there diddling somebody in the woods, right? Yeah, it's probably Bill Gates. Bill Gates and George Soros are diddling P. Diddy in the Canadian woods. That's why you can't go. Canada is now India and Pakistan, according to Mr. Bordages. Way to go, Mr. Bordages, and way to not take my calls. Well done. Well done. John Q. Public, guess what? Just for subscribing to the channel, you, sir, get a wrench. Congratulations on your wrench. Just don't forget, don't censor anybody. Censorship is evil and we don't tolerate it on the channel. Chosen One says, bust a fart out, bro. No. Even if I could, which will remain classified, I would refuse. Carl Tuckerson says, I saw a Nelk boy complaining about his Tim Horton experience no longer being up to par. I don't know what that means. I think that's a restaurant or something. Mike is spamming about Canadian immigration policy, about which I know nothing, and I will not be commenting on it because I don't like to comment on things that I know nothing about. We'll save that for various other YouTube channels who have their heads deep, deep into their posteriors, where they view the world through a lengthy and flexible periscope. Get your head out of your... CR7 King says, I love hearing the copium. Oh, yeah. I totally cope. Oh, yeah. You busted me. Oh, my gosh. I'm just shrinking. I'm shrinking inside. John Q. Public says, don't tell me how to run my life when you can't even run yours. Yeah, exactly. That is politics in a nutshell. Don't tell me how to run your life. Here's a little history story about how I became a libertarian. I became a libertarian at age 4. How? Here's how. I learned to read at age 3 because I didn't want to go to school. I resented school from the first day of kindergarten to my last day of college. So I learned to read at age 3, thinking I wouldn't have to go to school, right? I learned to read. Like, why would I have to go to school? I can now learn anything I need to learn. There are these things called libraries. Why would I have to go to school, right? So when I'm 4, I already know how to read, remember? So I find myself in a school with my mom getting registered for kindergarten. And I'm like, what is this? And she's like, oh, we're registering you for kindergarten. And I'm like, why? I already learned to read. I don't need to go to school. She's like, no, you don't understand. If you don't go to school, I'll go to jail. At which point I said, hey, Pennsylvania, you know better than me about my educational requirements? Whoop, whoop. Like, what? I was mad. And that's how I became a libertarian. That's with a small L, by the way, not the political party. The political party is trash. Trash. Gary Johnson? You think they get a libertarian to run for libertarian? Good luck, third party types. Good luck. If that's too controversial for you, press the dislike button. If you don't like what I'm saying, unsubscribe and never come back. You'll just miss all kinds of insight into all kinds of things and real space weather videos. And even videos about, like, oh, I don't know, how weather works. So, more Bible verses. It's Deuteronomy chapter 22, verses 28 to 29. I feel like you need to be culturally enriched with your African Christian brethren. That was from Crank. Hopefully you're not on Crank. That's all I have to say. Mike idiotically states that Jesus looks down on ghetto enrichment, which makes no sense. Way to be incoherent there, Mike. Always a pleasure hearing your incoherent comments. I like reading them aloud so that they're characterized. AAA Fire says, good morning, Dan. Well, good morning to you, AAA Fire. Carl Tuckerson says, I never got the crescent-shaped Earth. Maybe overthinking it? What? It's croissant-shaped. Are you a psycho? Go to our Redbubble shop. Earth is shaped like a croissant. Are you fucking crazy? People out there telling people that the Earth is shaped like a sphere, that the Earth is flat. Earth is croissant-shaped. Geez, are you some kind of nut? Go to the Redbubble link below this video. Stop believing NASA's lies about a spherical Earth. Earth is shaped like the French breakfast pastry, the croissant, not like a sphere. You people are all a bunch of shape nuts. You've all got shapes on the brain. You're like, oh, look, there's a sphere-shaped thing. Everything must be shaped like a sphere. My pancreas is shaped like a sphere. My kidneys is shaped like a sphere. My genitals are shaped like a sphere. What the hell? Earth is croissant shaped. Deal with it. Adam Hazlitt says, I prefer to be the guy who runs 10 $25 glasses than one 10 $25 glasses than one $250 glass. Yeah, exactly. Because different glasses are for different scenarios, right? On the bike, this is good. Off the bike, what the hell? I look like I belong on a bass boat. It looks ridiculously like glasses like this. Every step you get away from a bike, the more like an idiot you look. On a bass boat, you'd look fine with this, right? But not on a bass boat. So not wearing the glasses. They look fine on a hat. Yeah, I mean, like what? Like five pairs of sunglasses are better than one pair of sunglasses, you know? Like sometimes you want like this the small ones on because you're trying to get a tan or something, right? There's all kinds of different things. You want different lens colors, you want blue blockers for at nighttime, and you know, there's all kinds of stuff. Like don't limit yourself by buying like ultra expensive sunglasses. Now, if I was sponsored by a sunglasses company, I might not say that. It might say like Oakley or something, or you know, Rudy Project on here, you know, or Sirocco, or you know, might say something like that someday, but not today. Go get yourself some cheap sunglasses. Oh yeah. Tim Hortons, I don't know. I will not stay silent in the state of Canada. Yeah, okay. Say it loud. Say it proud, Mike. Make me mod. I ban Islam. Well, if you're threatening to ban people, then you don't get a wrench. Cheers. And again, everybody who has a wrench, do not do anything with the comments. If I find out that you're like deleting comments or anything like that, you will lose your wrench. So like, don't be a bad moderator. Censorship is evil. Don't be evil, or we will reduce your power. Bruce Minas says, I went out. Now looks getting hot. Dan on fire. How long do you think you're going to live? I mean, this was supposed to end over a half an hour ago. But I'm still here because there's so many comments that I can't get through them. Thanks to our 52 viewers. Could some of you press the like button? We've got 22 likes and 52 viewers. Please press like. Please press share. 3or says Earth is T-Rex shaped. Earth is an overlay of a JPG template. Oh, yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Geez, with a hole in it. But I do like the shape of woman, indeed. All right, and we are at the end of the comments, so thanks everybody for tuning in. Congratulations on realizing the channel exists. Please visit the links. Hit us up on social media. If you want to send me a DM at any point in time, use the Discord channel. There's a permanent invite link to that on the homepage at smashomash.com. So thanks to everybody who has tuned in once again. We always are delighted by reading your comments. And we'll see you soon here at the Smash News Network, least busted name of news. Don't forget to refrain from pole vaulting the caldera. Don't be fatalistic, folks. Our finest days lie ahead. The end times are not near. The end is nowhere near. So don't fall for the oldest grift in the world. And until next time, may that solar wind be at your back.